Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jordan here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. This is Ask Bricksie, episode number 19, where I answer your comments from the comment section below. If you have any questions that you want featured in the next episode, well, submit them below. Hey, I know it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I'm sorry about that. I want to try and make this a regular video that I do every week or two, and I'm going to hold myself to that, all right? So the first question here is from John. He says, do you think you will sell off most of the official sets once you dive deeper into custom builds? I don't think I'll ever sell off my entire collection. That's crazy. I've definitely sold some sets in the past, just sets that don't really mean much to me anymore. They don't really fit my collection, so I decided to sell them. Will I sell all of my sets and go completely custom? No, I'll definitely always have a collection, but I do want to get more into custom building because there's no question that the majority of my collection, whether it's on the shelves or in the city, is for the most part sets. But with that said, there is a lot of custom stuff that's in the city, such as some custom modular buildings, a ton of custom landscaping, the custom train station, the custom train track, the skyscraper that goes around the pillar, the mountains, all the medieval stuff, the wizarding tower that I built the other day. I definitely want to do more custom, but I have a hard time getting rid of sets. I won't lie to you, especially when they're like modular buildings or things that present so well in the city. And because I have a hard time getting rid of that, I think it sort of limits my creativity sometimes, just because I have so many sets and they pretty much consume my entire space in a Lego city. And when I get a bigger space, I want to focus on doing more custom stuff, creating custom houses and custom modular buildings and more custom landscaping, and just sort of spread my wings into something a little bit different. And that's definitely one of my goals of the future. And if I do have to sell sets to try and accommodate that goal, then I will do that, or to try and fund that goal, then I will do that as well. Because one of the hardest parts about custom building is having the right pieces in the right quantities to do these custom builds. I think the easiest way to know which pieces to have and to have those pieces in your inventory is actually to use digital design software, where you can actually export, so you can build your set and then you can, or your modular building or whatever it may be, and then you can export that and also create a parts list for it. Eventually I would love to dive into that as well. But the answer to your question in the end is I have sold sets in the past. Will I ever sell them all? Definitely not. I'll always have a selection of them, but I do want to do more custom building in the future, specifically in the Lego City and with my dioramas as well. Paradise Cruise 570 says, if money wasn't a factor, what is your dream modular building? I've said it before, some sort of crazy hospital would be super cool. Maybe if it was like 2 base plates, so the biggest modular building they've ever created would be, 2 base plates, because I think the biggest one is 1.5, Assembly Square, and also the Natural History Museum. I almost called it the Dinos exhibition there. But yeah, if it was 2 base plates, and maybe it was like 4 floors, and it was like all white masonry, and had like a beautiful facade, and it was just a massive hospital, I think that would be a pretty spectacular modular building. And that's what they should do. I hope they give us a modular hospital in the future. I do like my modular hospital. It's pretty cool, but it sort of has a Lego City color scheme to it, the white and red. It would be cool to build one that actually matches better with the modular buildings, like with like a white masonry facade that looks like sort of like an old school building, similar to the fire brigade and the town hall and like the other modular buildings that have sort of like that old building feel. That'd be really cool if they built a hospital that matched that theme. Mr. Mezzo says, I'm still a kid and I've been trying to start a Lego city, and I have no space to store my Lego. Any recommendations on what to do? Lego cities, they take up a lot of space because it's a huge table and your sets are spaced out. So if you don't have a lot of space to work with, that doesn't mean that you can't create Lego cities. I would build vertical, and I would build your Lego city on a shelf. So for example, you can get shelves that are 16 inches deep. You can get track shelves that are 16 inches deep. Like you see the track shelves around the city, like where we have the Death Star and stuff like that. Those are only 12-inch ones, but you can get some that are 16-inch ones that have longer brackets. And what I would do is I would build a city on a shelf, because those shelves can go up to 16 inches. A base plate or a modular building is only 10 inches, so that'll leave you 5 inches of road space. So you can actually build a city, so you have your modular buildings on the shelf, and then you can have your road in front, and you can put some vehicles, and you can create some scenes around that, and you got space to build a city on a deep shelf. So you can always build cities, but build them differently by creating dioramas on shelves. And the interesting thing is when you have a shelf, you can put multiple on the wall, and then you can have different street scenes on each shelf. And I've seen a lot of creativity working in tight spaces using a shelf system. Also, I use the PAX wardrobe units over in my shelving area. I can't remember the depth on those, but they're like super deep. Like you could build a pretty cool little diorama in each one of those shelves. And that's what I would recommend doing. Just buy like a shelf and build your city on the shelf. And it would help conserve space. It would allow you to be creative in a small space, and it would still allow you to create some pretty cool dioramas. Yeah, that's what I would do. Republic Films 2023 asks, Bricksie, what is your dream Star Wars set? So one of my favorite Star Wars sets is the Death Star 2. It's a beauty. I think it's from 2005, right? Just a beauty. The thing is with that set is the fact that it is a bit rickety and the instructions were a bit hard to follow, and I think it could be a lot more detailed. So I would love for them to do another Lego Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series Death Star 2, not a play set, but a display set like that. And it should be like, it should have like a 2-foot diameter. I think that would be super cool, just a 2-foot diameter of the Death Star, and have it like all greebled, maybe even 3 feet. A 3-foot diameter, a giant Death Star, and have it all greebled, maybe have like a micro scale like trench run in there. Oh yeah, that would be super cool. You could even have some like panels, some panels that could be removable. You can have some details inside. They need to do that. They should definitely do that. It's been a while since they've given us a Death Star, and the 2 previous Death Stars at that scale that they've given us have both been play sets, and I would love to see a display set. Maybe it comes with 2 exclusive minifigures, like a Darth Vader and a Palpatine. Oh, that would be so sick. That is my dream Lego set. Luke Belton asks, before Lego was your profession, did you ever question the hobby and think you were just spending too much money on child's toy? Do you ever worry about how addictive Lego is? It's funny because when I first started collecting Lego, I used it as therapy, and it was a way for me to escape the world. I definitely realized that it was a pretty expensive hobby. But when I came home from work after a stressful day of work or a stressful week of work, and I sat there and I put Lego together, it really helped me cope with the stress that I had at my old job. And it really helped me just escape from reality. Because when I turned on the TV or whatever it may be, I'd always be on my phone or I'd be thinking, whereas Lego just sort of took me away. So I almost looked at it as a form of therapy, which is just as expensive as Lego. But the cool thing about Lego is after I went through this therapeutic process of putting this Lego together and escape reality for a few hours or 5 hours or 6 hours, or depending on how big the set is, I actually had this tangible good after. And the thing that I really liked about it is the fact that this set that I put together still has value, which is sweet because it's not like a consumable. It's not like I drank a bottle of wine and it's gone. It's still there. And the really neat thing about it is that a few years later, after I built this thing and had so much fun with it and built it and displayed it and just sort of admired it for a number of years, for the most part, said set might have retired and gone up in value or retained its value even though it's been brought out of the packaging and built. So I just think that knowing that in the back of my mind always just like, it sort of eased my mind knowing that this thing helped me get through a hard time and it has retained its value or even gone up in value. So not really, and I've never really looked at it as a kid's toy, to be honest with you. I've never looked at Lego as a kid's toy. Like, not sure it is, but I've never looked at it that way for some reason. I've always just collected it and saw it as a collectible. I don't see it as a kid's toy at all. I don't know why, but I just don't. So no, I never really thought about it that much just because of the things that I just mentioned. Good question, though. So this question here from Jason is another one in relation to the new property that I might be getting that's going to allow us to build a bigger city. He says, are you going to rebuild the city as it sits now, or can we look forward to a new layout? Well, of course, I'm not going to rebuild the city as it is now. It'll be a new layout for sure, because the tables are going to be different. For example, where the amusement park is right here, you see how this table goes right up against the wall? This table is only 40 inches wide, because I can only access it from one side. But when I'm able to access the tables from all sides, the tables can go up to 70 inches wide, which is how wide the center table is. Actually, no, that one's only 60. So the tables are going to be a lot wider, and I'm going to be able to access them 360 and on the sides. So for that reason, the layout will have to be different. And because it's a larger table, I'll be able to present or build a different layout. And I don't want to just transfer this, because it's got to change. Everything is going to change. It's going to be the domino effect. Sure, there might be rows of modular buildings that look similar, but the beach, the ocean, the campground, the amusement park, the medieval area, everything is going to be larger. The train track, we won't have to go around this silly telepost holding up the ceiling. It's going to be able to go around the perimeter. There's going to be a subway station. There's going to be like a subway built into the tables. There's going to be all sorts of stuff. It's going to be pretty wild. It's going to be a journey getting there. But I look forward to it. Honestly, like, back to the first question, will I ever sell Lego sets, and the fact that I was talking about how this city's so full. I have a hard time selling Lego sets, and I have a hard time breaking these sets down. So that's why the Lego city hasn't changed much, because it's pretty much packed right now. So when I get more space, I'm going to be able to spread my wings and try different things. And I'm really excited about that. I want to start doing more custom stuff, and I want to try and build new layouts that look better and offer just a more unique visual of the city. I'm really excited about it. So yeah, it'll be rebuilt for sure. Different. 100%, man. There might be some similarities, but it'll for sure be different. That's Hawkeye Guy asks, what has been the biggest drawback in the 8 years of building the city? The biggest drawback? The telepost. No, the biggest drawback? I don't know. Nothing. Is there a drawback? The lack of space. I don't have a Lego problem. I've got a space problem. I don't know. I don't think there's been a drawback of anything. Part constraints, not knowing which parts to order in bulk, not having access to those parts in bulk on hand, having to order them online. I would love to just be like able to go up to a store that offered all of the different parts and just be like, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take that. That would be the dream. I've heard there's stores like that in Germany, like the factory stores in Germany. That's the drawback, is the part constraints and the difficult task of ordering parts in bulk from Lego or from Bricklink and knowing which parts to order. That's the biggest drawback and the most challenging thing about building custom builds, I think. If I just had like access to unlimited parts, then I would be able to, use unlimited snot bricks and unlimited tiles to create a really cool facade. But ordering the 300 tiles or 100 tiles with 100 snot bricks and knowing which ones to order is the hardest part. If all of those parts were just here, ready to go, then of course you could build anything you want. But getting the parts here is the biggest drawback, definitely. Paul's Brick says, how come you don't have the music anymore at the end of your videos? So I look at graphs and charts of my videos, and there's something called viewer retention. And the problem is when I have 20 seconds of music at the end of my video with the end screen cards, you can see that the viewer retention goes down. So I'm just thinking maybe that's playing with the algorithm and saying, hey, these guys aren't even, or the viewers of this channel aren't even finishing this guy's videos. We're going to present them to less viewers. Am I wrong? I don't know. But all I know is for the last 20 seconds when I used to have that music, viewer retention dropped down to 0. So I'm just thinking maybe by not having that there, it helps with the algorithm. Is that proven? I have no idea. That's my thought. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong, but that's why it's not there. AJD8469 asks, I was wondering what is the least favorite set in your collection? The Dream sets that I just got. I think that's probably, or the Sonic stuff. Essentially the stuff that Lan sent me, or I accepted the review offer on that I regret doing. Those are my least favorite sets because they're like tucked away in boxes and not even on display. Everything in this room that's on display I love. If there's something that I don't really like, that is like a scattered, incohesive mess, then I usually just like put those away in storage. But generally speaking, if I love a set, it's on display, and if I don't love a set, I'll sell it. Only if it's worth selling though. For example, the Pets Brickheads, didn't love them at all. They were up on the bulkhead shelf forever. I would say that those would be some of my least favorite sets. But guess what? I parted them out, and I got all of these like awesome snot bricks out of them. Like a ton of these. And these are so handy. I would love to have unlimited amounts of these parts. So are those my least favorite sets? No, because the parts inside those brickheads have come in so handy when it comes to building mocks. But yeah, probably the Dream sets or the Sonic sets. The Sonic sets, I love the minifigures though, and I should really have those on display. But yeah, those are probably my least favorite sets in this room. And it's not because of the build quality. Like the Dream sets, they have a really cool build quality, and there's lots of cool parts and minifigs in them. It's just they don't match the theme that I am running with in this Lego room. They don't really match my collection, so that's why they're not my favorite. Nothing against the parts and the minifigures and the build styles of those sets. Lego Maple Leaf, a fellow Canadian here. If you had enough Lego to build one custom build that is Canadian, what will you build? The Rocky Mountains! The big mountains! No, it's got to be like a building, hey? You need a CN Tower? That'd be cool. Yeah, CN Tower. I've never seen the Parliament in Ottawa. That'd be a cool build. Or the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa. Those would be pretty cool builds. Or even the Alberta Legislative Grounds here in Alberta, or in Edmonton, would be a super neat build as well. Dan Herder asks, how in the world do you plan on moving all the Lego to the warehouse without it falling apart? There's a couple different ways that I can do that. I've actually done a move before. Honestly, modular buildings are pretty tough. Like, you can just put those in the back of like in boxes and like loosely, like put them all side by side in boxes, maybe put a little bit of packing material around them or blankets or whatever, and then just drive and unload them and they'll be fine. Same with most sets, to be honest with you. Like, Lego's actually pretty strong. Like, it's not going to fall apart for short drives. It's got to drive slow. For ones that are breakable, like the Death Star 2, when I moved that the first time, what I did is I found a box that was pretty much the exact size of the Death Star 2. I dropped it into the box, and I put blankets on the bottom and blankets on the top, and then I just moved it. What you can do, though, is you can buy saran wrap, and you can saran wrap all your sets. That's going to take forever, though. You can also buy pallet wrap on Amazon or from Uline or from shipping companies, and it's like essentially saran wrap, but it's like this big, like that wide, and you can pallet wrap these things. Some of the more breakable stuff, the Star Destroyer, ooh, that one went through some damage. The AT-AT Walker, maybe I'd be, like the giant one, maybe I'd be better off just taking the legs off while I move it and partly deconstructing some of this stuff. But like Technic cars, Lego Creator Expert cars, modular buildings, castles. Like, they're not really breakable for short drives. All you have to do is just put them flat in the back of a big truck, like a big U-Haul truck, put it all in there, like lay it all out flat, and then just drive slowly. Hopefully you don't hit any big bumps. Honestly, like, there wasn't much damage when I originally moved to this house, from the old house to this house. It's really not that hard for short drives. Like, yeah. Boxes in there loosely, maybe wrapped in some blankets. Repeat the process plenty of times. And of course, when I do move, I'm going to vlog the entire experience. So I'm still hoping March 1st, fingers crossed, that we're going to get this new place. We're going to do some construction over in the warehouse, and then we're going to start breaking down this collection and moving it, and I'll vlog the entire experience. Another one in relation to the warehouse, it says, what would you do downstairs if you moved the Lego collection to the West house, or the warehouse? I'd imagine that's what he's saying. Pretty simple. Where we're sitting right now might be a film studio. This area, my desk area. TV against that wall, couch right there, hopefully a pool table, kids play area, workout area on the far side. However, the workout area might go here, and my film studio might go on the far side. Haven't quite decided. Film studio is just going to be this table with white walls, just off-white eggshell paint, so I can film reviews and build Lego at home. In fact, my entire backlog would probably stay at home so that I can still build and work from home some days. A few days a week probably work from home. I can do all my editing here too, so I hope to still have days that I can work from home. But yeah, it's just going to be like a place for my family, really. TV, couch, maybe a pool table. We'll see. Hopefully Mrs. Bricksie lets it happen, because I just want one. Kids play area, workout room, or maybe switch out the workout space with the studio space. And that's what it would be. I'm pretty excited. Arrow Red asks, do you ever think you will have a Lego museum in the new building or have city open days? I don't know. That was the original plan, but I don't know. We're going to have to see once I get it developed. The thing is if I start opening the place to the public, there's a higher risk involved because everyone knows where it is. There's also just more work involved because now I need to start bringing people in and accommodating those people in there, and I need to come up with a system for charging and like the monetary of how to bring people in there. And is it a membership? Is it a one-time fee? Are kids under 6 free or kids under 12 free? What's the dealio with that? How many days a week is it? Where are they going to park? I didn't get, like, it's not in a retail space. It's not in West Edmonton Mall. It's not in a shopping center. It's not in a strip mall. Where are they going to park? Do the bylaws allow me to bring people into this commercial space? So there's a lot of question marks involved in that. What's the insurance cost? Is it going to raise my insurance cost? Definitely it will. So there's a lot of different things that I have to factor when it comes to that. And in order to do that properly, you would need a huge space in a retail space, because that's where people would have places to park and you could actually bring people in. When it's a commercial space, like, I only got like 2 parking stalls. So where are people going to park, and how are the logistics of that going to work? The problem is to get 3,000 square feet of retail space is a lot more expensive than to get 3,000 square feet of commercial space. And I can't expand the city and expand the collection and expand the quality of this display without having more square footage. So that's the reason I didn't get a retail space, or I'm not looking to get a retail space compared to a commercial space. Could I do like private things? Yes, but still, that will still has to be notified to the insurance company, and that still reveals where it's located, and the grapevine effect will just sort of spread that information very quickly. Before you know it, 3,000 people will know where that building is located, and there might be one of the 10,000 people or whatever the number is that can't be trusted. So there's just a lot of logistics involved with that. And of course, I know some people have brought this up in the past, that oh, you're going to need an insurance policy and you're going to need security. And it's like, yes, I already have that here. I have security cameras and I have a really good insurance company or insurance policy for everything. So when I move, it's just going to be more of that, just larger. Also, like bars in the windows, blackout windows, this, that. So like I know exactly what to do and how to secure it and insure it. But yeah, now I'm going way off topic. So I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to open to the public yet, just because of the risk involved and the logistics of making that happen. What do you think is the best Lego Star Wars set? Love your content, by the way. This question is from Matthew Jolly. Matthew Jolly, one of the best Lego Star Wars sets, is right there, sitting beside one of the other best Lego Star Wars sets, the Imperial Shuttle UCS. Woo! That's a beauty! And it's right beside the Death Star 2, and then, of course, the Millennium Falcon UCS. Also the AT-AT Walker UCS, and the Venator. I much prefer the Venator over the Star Destroyer. It's just so much more well-built. But for sure, my number one, Imperial Shuttle, then probably Millennium Falcon, then, I want to say Death Star 2, but it's so rickety, and so, it's just, the build quality isn't there because it's a vintage, well, not really vintage, it's 2005, it's a little bit old. But number one and number two, definitely Imperial Shuttle and Death Star. Imperial Shuttle, I want it to be the Death Star. Imperial Shuttle and Millennium Falcon. According to my camera, we are running a bit long here. We will be doing more of these, and I have more questions to answer. This is where we're going to leave it. Trey Templin asks, after you build a set, how do you store the box? Do you throw away the box and all the step bags? Do you keep only the more expensive set boxes? I throw away all of my boxes, and I throw away all of my bags. The only boxes that I have remaining in my collection right now are the Lego Technic cars. That's it. Oh, I have the Imperial Shuttle box and the Death Star 2 box. But all the UCS boxes, Titanic box, they're all gone. I just don't have the space. Never will. I used to keep them all, but it just like filled an entire room in my house. So it's just not worth it. So yeah, I've got Imperial Shuttle, Death Star 2, Technic cars. I literally think that's it. Everything else has been recycled. Instruction manuals I still have, though. For the most part, I keep all my instruction manuals in a giant filing cabinet in my garage. Yeah. So everybody, that wraps up Ask Bricksie episode 19. I hope you enjoyed. I will be back next week, and we will answer some more questions from the comment section down below. Thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff coming out in the near future. Farewell.